Welcome to Holly Mae's Good Life. Today we're going to talk about the saucy secrets at how to chop those tomato plants all the way back to make sure that the tomatoes actually ripen. But first, let's have a look at how we clear those raised beds.
Raised bed gardening is one of the easiest ways to have a no-dig organic garden. You know what's going into it and you can manage it easily as well. Today I'm going to basically clear the raised beds just so you can see what I do as part of my annual maintenance, I guess, and I'm going to show you what else is in them as well. Some of the things are perennial and some of them are annuals. That is the beds weeded. It didn't take long because it's lovely and wet and the weeds are just coming up so easily. And now what I'm going to do is chop back some of this oregano because it's getting a bit unruly. This one's actually still got flowers on, so I'm going to leave that for the bees. But yeah, some of this, sometimes you just got to be ruthless with things, otherwise you'll end up with a load of plants that you actually don't want or use. What do I do with this tomato? It's got loads of flowers on it. I'm going to give it a little bit of a chance. Even if I get a load of green tomatoes on it, I'm going to leave this. So that's just kind of like flipped over. But yeah, I'm going to go and trim the oregano. I'll show you in a bit more detail what is actually going on in this first bed here. So there's the tomato I talked about. This just had a load of weeds underneath it, so it's completely clear. So here we actually have something to harvest. So you can use these leaves in salad, the young beetroot leaves. Can you see these little ones coming up here? But yeah, these are ready. So because they're just on their own in this raised bed, I'm just going to pick them up. Hello, beetroot. These will either be grated into salads or into a soup or whatever. But remember, as soon as you pick something like this, you know, the nutrients are absolutely incredible for you. Over in the other bed here, I've quickly weeded it. With beetroot, all I do, by the way, is I sow them in modules and I sow them together. So as you can see here, there's a clump. So what I will do is I sow them in like pots this big, 3 or 4 in one pot, and then plant them out here. And I pick the bigger ones. So on this one, for instance, I might pick this one here. And then that gives room for the rest to grow. It's just a really efficient way of growing beetroot, and beetroot in this climate are so easy to grow. Don't bother, by the way, looking at the back of packets when it comes to things like beetroot. Just whack them in, especially if you've got like a greenhouse or a polytunnel or a windowsill. Just whack them in, see what happens, because the growing season is all over the place at the moment. So yeah, I might sow some beetroot soon. We all have seen these everywhere. Don't like slugs. I won't use slug pellets, but yeah, I'm not so keen on slugs. Okay, so now we have a bit of clear space in the raised beds. I'm actually going to put some of my old purple sprouting broccolis in there. They need some housing. Okay, so by the polytunnel here, these beds which I haven't cleared in a while, you can see here that I've literally, let's just get this out of the way. I've just put these 2 unaccounted for pots of purple sprouting broccoli, laid them down there, forgot about them, didn't plant them out because at the time I didn't have any space. So I just put them here. Some of them have grown absolutely huge, and you know what? They've missed the caterpillars. So on my previous video, last week's video, you'll see that my purple sprouting broccoli, the other side of the polytunnel, has got caterpillars everywhere. Now it might be that this has got a lot of weeds, it's got a lot of protection, the caterpillars haven't, you know, the butterflies haven't actually found it. I do not know, but it seems to be working. So natural techniques do work sometimes. Anyway, these are in these pots here, and I'm going to leave the big ones because obviously those roots have found a way to go down and they're happy. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the pots there. I'm just going to take the smaller purple sprouting broccolis and shove them in. This is a tool, right? Oh, that's lovely soil. So that's one in. So these would probably need about a foot apart each, but you know, we're just trying to get something from them, and they're going to get quite a lot of nutrients from here because I've actually put some discarded mushroom compost on top of this, and it's rotted down really well. I got it from an online company, they call it organic. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this kind of just over a metre. Let me just dig down there. You see, this soil is just amazing. Shove it in. I realise now, after putting them in, that what I should have done is dig a little bit deeper with the trowel, which I said, oh, I'm not going to bother getting a trowel. But if you dig them deeper to those first 2 leaves, put them in, then they're going to be really solid. Come and have a look at my tomatoes in the polytunnel. They are actually really nice. Okay, so there's an Instagram account called She Grows Veg. It's definitely worth a follow. You probably, if you're into gardening, you probably already follow her. She's launched her own range of heritage seeds and they are absolutely amazing. So this is what the tomatoes are looking like at the moment. This polytunnel isn't heated, but I'm hoping that if we keep the door closed, we should be able to, you know, keep it going. So I should probably be taking some of these off. I'm not sure if that's a nutrient deficiency or too many nutrients, why it's turning yellow like that, but the tomatoes are turning red, so I'm happy. Oh gosh, look at that. Oh, and this is why I buy from She Grows Veg. I'm gonna get my secateurs. So for those of you who are good at growing tomatoes, totally ignore this advice. Because I do not know. I literally wing it. So all I'm doing now is I'm chopping the leaves that look a bit kind of discarded or, you know, not so good. I'm just basically freeing up these because I want the sun to reach these. Obviously leaves are needed for the growing period, but I don't like the fact that's touching. Yeah, I'm just going to get rid because that's when disease starts to set in, isn't it? There's more. Get rid of that. There we go. And that one because it's touching. Okay, so what have we got here? So we've got this bit here, and that's kind of going across. So there's still leaves feeding these tomatoes. It's just these ones are all free. Now what's going on here? This, there's going to be so many really good tomato growers just telling me off for doing all this, I know. But I am, like I say, I'm just to kind of like see what happens girl. I'm going to cut that because it's touching the ground. This looks all shriveled, so I'm going to cut that off. There we go. See what happens. I'm all about doing things because you feel it. People worry a bit too much around, oh, am I doing it right? You know, no offence if you do worry. You obviously do want your efforts to be worth it, don't you? But I mean, look, I just love tomatoes. This is what I mean about you can, you know, put them in really deep. I've got roots growing in the middle of the air. Have a look at this. There is the roots, can you see? I could just shove that in and create a new plant. Right, I'm gonna get rid of that leaf there. See ya. That's created some space there. Now all these shoots up here, they shouldn't be here. They're obviously here because I've not been doing my maintenance. Yeah, they are. Look, that's come from I'm just going to cut it off. It's got flowers on it, but... So my tomatoes are now a pleasant mess where I can actually see the tomatoes. There's some lovely little hanging downy bits there that seem to be going red nicely, and I've chopped the leaves around them. So hopefully I'll be getting some red tomatoes. What you digging, Fleet? What you digging for? Can I also say it's September and look what has had a second harvest. This is ridiculous. Hello, strawberries. While we're on the subject of tomatoes, last week I covered the tomatoes and the courgettes to try and extend the season. So shall we have a look to see if the wet week that I've had so far has made any of the tomatoes turn red? Here they are. Let's see what's happening. Okay, so not a lot going on at the moment, but I haven't done the same admin, have I? I've not been chopping off these leaves to give the tomatoes some air to breathe and to get that sunshine, any sunshine that we do get. So I'm just going to give a little snipperoo to all of the leaves here. And yeah, next week we'll see what happens, see if that makes a difference. Okay, so they are looking a lot better. I know it looks like I've basically chopped all the leaves off, but well, that's exactly what I've done. But it's worth it because I'm pretty sure they will start turning red. So that's it for today. If you like this video and want to find out more about what we're doing each week, we release a video on Sunday.